For decades, the United States government maintained a posture of silence regarding unidentified phenomena. Information was heavily compartmentalized, and reports from both pilots and civilians were consistently categorized as classified national security data. The National Defense Authorization Act for fiscal year 2026 shifted that baseline. Lawmakers introduced a mandate to identify every object in the sky, specifically to prevent a scenario where a foreign adversary could master advanced aerospace technology without the Pentagon's knowledge. In February 2026, President Trump issued an executive directive to launch the Pursue Initiative. This program, led by the Department of War under Secretary Pete Hegseth, was tasked with identifying and declassifying every federal file related to unidentified anomalous phenomena. On May 8th, the department published Release 01. This inaugural tranche consisted of 162 military and intelligence records made available to the public through a dedicated online portal. The administration established a new rule for these disclosures. While witness names and sensitive locations could be redacted, agencies were legally barred from withholding any data regarding the performance, morphology, or existence of the objects themselves. By removing the ability to hide the core details of an encounter, the government disabled the administrative mechanisms used to dismiss or obscure these reports since the 1940s. The release began with Cold War-era investigations. Previously redacted FBI files from the 1940s and 50s show that federal agents were actively tracking flying discs and reviewing technical proposals for unconventional propulsion systems at the highest levels of government. The Pursue Initiative also brought NASA into the fold. Administrator Jared Isaacman oversaw the declassification of decades-old anomalies recorded by astronauts during the Apollo moon missions, events that the agency had previously left unaddressed. Cockpit transcripts from Apollo 17 describe astronauts observing bright particles or fragments drifting outside the spacecraft. The crew described the visual effect as looking like the 4th of July out the window. Supporting the testimony is a photograph from the lunar surface depicting 3 glowing points in a fixed triangular formation. Modern government analysis included in the release identifies these as physical objects rather than flaws in the film or lens. Officially categorizing these missions under unresolved cases marks a departure from previous decades. The defense establishment is now acknowledging that traditional explanations, like ice crystals or spacecraft debris, do not fit the available data. Beyond historical records, Release 01 includes 41 minutes of contemporary military sensor data. These files consist of infrared and targeting footage captured during tactical encounters between 2020 and 2026. An incident over the Aegean Sea shows an object executing multiple 90-degree turns. Conventional aircraft require a wide turn radius. This object maintained 80 miles per hour during these maneuvers. A 0-meter turn radius violates known physics, indicating it isn't relying on traditional lift. The release also details reports from federal agents in the western United States. These witnesses observed large orange mother orbs that appeared to release smaller, reddish units while hovering near the ground. The All-Domain Anomaly Resolution Office is using these specific, high-quality cases to frame its new mission. By admitting to these unexplained technical capabilities, the office is presenting a public image of data-driven transparency. This official narrative was challenged just 24 hours later. On May 9th, the House Oversight Committee held a hearing that presented a much darker view of the government's relationship with this technology. Former Pentagon official Luis Elizondo testified under oath that the U.S. is currently engaged in a multi-decade secretive arms race. He asserted that the government is in possession of non-human technology that has been hidden from elected representatives. Elizondo directly confirmed the existence of secret crash retrieval programs. These operations were allegedly designed to secure downed anomalous craft for the purpose of reverse engineering their propulsion and material components. Journalist Michael Schellenberger provided further evidence in the form of a whistleblower report. The document describes an unacknowledged special access program that operates outside of the public declassification process. The report identified this program as Immaculate Constellation. Its specific function is to gather and partition high-quality sensor data on these objects, keeping the most revealing evidence entirely separate from the public-facing investigations. These testimonies suggest the May 8th release acted as a strategic filter. It provided enough information to satisfy the immediate demand for transparency, while the most significant intelligence remained partitioned within a hidden program. This has created a divide between the Pentagon's official stance and a growing congressional investigation. Lawmakers are now focused on uncovering programs that may have been operating without legal oversight for decades. The geopolitical risk remains the primary driver of this conflict. If a foreign adversary has mastered transmedium travel, the ability to move between the atmosphere and the ocean instantly, the United States faces a significant strategic disadvantage. The burden of proof has now shifted. It is no longer up to witnesses to prove they saw something. It is now up to the government to prove it is not withholding evidence of a major technological breakthrough. Congress is now utilizing classification reform and the Safer Skies Act to pull hidden UAP data directly out of entrenched intelligence agency silos. The Pursue initiative did not provide a conclusion to the mystery. Instead, it established a verifiable record of anomalies that now serves as the primary evidence in a much larger struggle